For the last decade, the cloud was Silicon Valley's ultimate growth story. Every company wanted to be in it. Every startup wanted to build on it. Every enterprise wanted to migrate to it. It was the invisible infrastructure powering the modern economy, from streaming and banking to logistics and retail. AWS, Microsoft Azure, and Google Cloud became the new digital utilities of our time. But lately, something's shifting. The conversation inside boardrooms and investor calls is starting to sound different. Because now, simply being a cloud company isn't enough anymore. Let's rewind for a second. In the 2010s, the cloud was revolutionary. Businesses that once spent millions building on-premise servers suddenly rented computing power on demand. Startups could scale overnight without buying hardware. Enterprises could modernize their operations instantly. It was efficient, scalable, and profitable, especially for big tech. Amazon built an empire on AWS. Microsoft reinvented itself through Azure. Google found a new revenue engine with Google Cloud. These platforms didn't just sell storage and compute, they became the foundation for how digital business operates. By 2020, the cloud wasn't just a service. It was the default business model. But that's the problem. When everyone's in the cloud stops being special. Today, the market is saturated. Almost every Fortune 500 company is already cloud-based. New customers are harder to find, and competition has shifted from expansion to differentiation. The big question now is, what comes after cloud? And increasingly, the answer is intelligence. The next evolution of big tech isn't about where data lives. It's about what that data does. AI has become the new differentiator layered on top of cloud infrastructure. Companies no longer brag about being cloud first. They're bragging about being AI native. That subtle shift says everything about where the industry is heading. For the major players, the cloud business isn't dying, but it's changing character. Cloud platforms are becoming the picks and shovels of the AI revolution. Amazon, Microsoft, and Google are racing to integrate advanced AI capabilities directly into their clouds. Microsoft's Azure AI, Amazon's Bedrock platform, and Google's Vertex AI are no longer side features. They're the new core products. They're not just selling compute power anymore, they're selling intelligence as a service. And that's a massive transformation. Because for the first time in years, cloud providers aren't just competing for storage contracts. They're competing to power the brains of modern business. Let's put that into perspective. A few years ago, if a company wanted to move to the cloud, they'd migrate databases, workloads, and apps. The goal was cost efficiency and uptime. Now the same companies are asking a new question. How do we use our cloud data to make better decisions automatically? That question is what's driving the current wave of AI integration. Banks are using AI on the cloud to detect fraud in real time. Manufacturers are using AI models hosted on Azure to predict maintenance before equipment fails. Retailers are using Google Cloud's AI to optimize pricing and inventory. In other words, the cloud is no longer just a place to store data. It's the engine that interprets it. That's the new business model. But this transformation isn't easy or cheap. The AI layer sitting on top of cloud infrastructure requires enormous GPU power, advanced networking, and specialized data centers. That means the big three cloud providers are in an arms race, not just for customers, but for compute dominance. Microsoft has partnered with OpenAI, integrating its models directly into Azure. Google is pushing its own Gemini models through Google Cloud. Amazon is investing billions in Anthropic while doubling down on custom silicon to power Bedrock. They're spending tens of billions per quarter to stay ahead, because whoever controls the AI layer will control the next decade of enterprise technology. But this race comes with risk. Margins on pure cloud services are starting to thin. Customers are pushing back against rising prices. Startups are experimenting with decentralized or hybrid clouds. And large enterprises are exploring multi-cloud strategies to avoid being locked into one vendor. So even as AI fuels new demand, the underlying business model of cloud computing is under pressure. And then there's another shift. one that's even more profound: the rise of edge computing. As AI workloads grow, not all processing can happen in giant centralized data centers. Some of it has to move closer to where the data is generated, at the edge. Think about autonomous vehicles, smart factories, or retail sensors. These systems need instant decisions, not millisecond delays caused by sending data back to the cloud. That's why big tech is now investing heavily in hybrid and edge solutions, bringing cloud-like power to local environments. The next battle won't just be in the cloud, it'll be between the cloud and the edge. So what does all this mean for the future of the cloud business? It means the term cloud company is starting to sound outdated. The new winners will be the ones who turn cloud infrastructure into AI platforms, data ecosystems, and decision engines. Just look at how Microsoft describes itself today. It's no longer calling Azure a cloud platform. It's calling it the foundation of Copilot, AI for every worker. Amazon isn't promoting AWS as just infrastructure. It's positioning it as the intelligence backbone for businesses running generative AI. And Google? It's tying its cloud directly to Gemini, making the platform synonymous with AI creation and insight. In other words, the cloud is being rebranded, from a service you use to a partner that thinks with you. But here's the paradox. While big tech moves up the AI stack, the pure cloud model, renting compute and storage, is becoming commoditized. Startups and mid-tier providers can now offer cheaper alternatives. That's forcing the giants to evolve or risk becoming utilities, profitable but boring. So they're reinventing themselves as AI ecosystems, not just providers of servers, but providers of intelligence, creativity, and automation. And in doing so, they're reshaping what corporate computing means altogether. So, is just being cloud enough now? Not anymore. The next chapter of big tech isn't about who hosts your data, it's about who helps you use it. The companies that treat cloud as the foundation, not the finish line, will define the next decade. Those that don't will find themselves trapped in a business model that's quietly becoming yesterday's news. Because in the new digital economy, being cloud-powered isn't the advantage. Being AI-powered is.